there, coming to you from thecraftsurgeon.com. Thanks for joining me for another video tutorial. I have a really fun project for you guys today, and here it is. Isn't it beautiful? It's Halloween themed. Oh, and look at that. Boom! There's some sparkle on that bad boy. Yes. And I even colored some rhinestones. Oh, this is a really pretty card. And I created this card because guess what it is today? Casing Tuesday. It's Casing Tuesday. What? It's Casing Tuesday. What? It's Casing Tuesday. Casing Tuesday. Casing Tuesday. Wicked. What? All right. So Casing Tuesday. If you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know that I love Casing Tuesdays. And how it works, for those of you who aren't sure what I'm talking about, is basically every Tuesday there is a post of a sample card from our Stampin' Up catalog, which, by the way, is known as the best idea book out there in the crafting market. And it is associated with a sketch with measurements that's posted to this group called Casing Tuesday on Facebook. And in order for you to play along, all you have to do is either recreate the card as it's shown in the catalog, or you can put your own spin and your own flair to it, which is what I always love to do, because I like to step out of the box and challenge myself to use all of the stuff that I have in my stash. Because I don't know about you guys, I tend to have and buy a lot of stuff that sometimes collects dust, right? So I use it as a challenge to reach into my stash and bring some stuff out that I haven't used in a while. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, well, we've seen you do quite a few projects with this Harvest Hellos. Hello is my favorite. But anyways, I have some other Casing Tuesday card sketches that you can find in a playlist on my channel. Not using Harvest Hellos, by the way. But anyways, but I also find that Casing Tuesdays is a great way for you to get inspired, to get inspiration from others, and to also be able to create, to kickstart your creativity, especially when you're in a rut. And today's sketch is number 220. So I'm going to show you guys where this sketch is being pulled from. It is actually on page 30 of our holiday catalog. Oh my goodness, look how gorgeous this book is. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of squirrel for a moment here. Let's just take a moment to just ooh and ah over this gorgeous paper and this gorgeous stamp set. I'm just saying, like, it's beautiful. I just ordered it. I have the paper, but I didn't have the stamp set and the coordinating punch, but it's on its way because it's so pretty. But anyways, I digress. So the card we are going to be creating today is this cute one here. Isn't it pretty? And so if you look closely, I'm sorry, my little iPad thing's in a way, so I'm going to try to work around it. But if you look closely, this is how the card looks. Okay, so if you notice, there is some embossed background. They use the hammered metal embossing folder, which can be found in this suite of products. I used my my embossing folder as well, so check, got that component on my card. Then there's this gorgeous DSP. Then there's a stitched circle in the back. They used a little bit of the not a little bit, but they used one of the foil elements that comes in this suite of products. And then they used the stamp set and cut out the holly and the leaves. And then there's this beautiful ribbon that says Merry Christmas that they use as an accent on this card. How gorgeous is that? So let's look at my card. Let's see how many of those components I used. I think I used almost all of them. I have the embossed background. I have the designer series paper. I have my linen thread, which takes the spot of the ribbon. I have my little circle in the background, and I have my little stamped image. How much fun is this? Okay, but anyways, so now that you guys have seen the card that we're going to create today, I'm going to share with you what supplies I use, and I'm going to give you guys step-by-step instructions on how to create it. All right, so the first thing that I used on the card is, of course, the stamp set and the coordinating punch called Harvest Hellos. Y'all know this is one of my faves. Man, I love fall. If you haven't heard me talk about fall, man, I love it. So Harvest Hellos is a great set. It comes with 15, I think these are clean mount, yeah, clean mount stamps. And it is very versatile. There's the apple, there's the pumpkin. You can create jack-o'-lanterns, you can create teacher cards, fall themed cards. Like, there's so many different things that you can do with this stamp set. You can even create caramel apples if you wanted to. I have a video on that. I don't know if I have any in here. Oh, I have my poison apples. There's my poison apple. But there's so many different style projects and cards that you can use with this set. And it comes with the coordinating punch. This is the apple builder punch. And if you purchase these two together, you can save 10%, because that is always a great deal when you purchase things as a bundle. And so we're going to be using both of those components today. I have also brought in another stamp set, and it is Wonderfully, let me grab it. It's called Wonderfully Wicked. This is another one of my favorite Halloween stamp sets in our holiday catalog. And I pulled the sentiment Happy Halloween from this set because the Harvest Hellos didn't have a Happy Halloween. So I thought it would be cute with the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin over here. But this is a really cute stinking set too. And it has coordinating dies as well. Here they are. It's the Wonderfully Wicked die. So it's a word die, and then there's this like creepy spider. I hate spiders. But that is where I pulled the sentiment from. So just in case you're wondering. All right, so for cardstock, I use the following. All right, so I have, I got a lot of it here. It's all over the place. So I have my standard A2 size card. This measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and it's scored at 4.25 inches. This is Mossy Meadow. Then I have a piece of Mossy Meadow that I ran through my die cutting machine. It's called the Corrugated Dynamic Embossing Folder. I think it's a new name for it. And it creates this really cool corrugated look. Isn't it awesome? Now this piece measures 5.25 inches by, or excuse me, 4 inches by 5.5 inches. You kind of want to like work with this cardstock, because one thing I realized when I was initially creating this card is that when you run this sheet of cardstock through the corrugated, it shrinks the paper. So I started off with a 5.25 inch sheet, excuse me, a 5.5 inch sheet by 4.25 inch sheet that measured the same as my card base, and then I kind of cut it down a little bit. Okay, if that makes sense, because it kept shrinking, and I wanted it to have an equal border all the way around, so I had to kind of play around with it and manipulate it a little bit in order to get that effect. Okay, so there's that. I'm also using a piece of the Come Gather Designer Series paper, and this piece measures 3 inches by 4.25 inches. And then I have my scrap pieces. I have some vellum, I have some early espresso, I have my Whisper White that we're going to do our stamping on, I have a piece of garden green, and a piece of pumpkin pie. Okay, so that is all of the cardstock that you're going to need for this project. Oh no, I almost lost a spider. Look, that's how creepy they are. They just jump out at you. Weird. Some additional tools. I am using the decorative ribbon border punch, and I have my 2.25 inch circle punch. Let's see here. For inks, I am using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink because we are going to be doing some Stampin' Blend coloring on our pumpkin. And speaking of blends, we're going to be using the pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend combo. I have some Winka Stella, and then as accents, I am going to be using some of our rhinestone basic jewels and some linen thread. And of course, you are going to need adhesive, so I'm using my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm using my liquid glue for this card. So anyways, that is all of the supplies that we're going to be using on this card. So let's go ahead and begin creating. So we're going to start off with our stamping first. So I'm going to take my piece of Whisper White and my Memento ink, and I'm going to ink up my little pumpkin. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this little guy close down to the bottom of my cardstock. And then I'm going to take my marker. So I'm going to start off with the dark, and I'm going to color in my pumpkin. All right, so now that we're done with our pumpkin, we're going to take the jack-o'-lantern face and we're going to stamp it onto the center of our pumpkin. Whoa! Oh, before we close that up, now we're going to take our piece of garden green and we're going to stamp our leaf 2 times onto our piece of cardstock. Just like that. All right, so we are done with that. Now I'm gonna let this dry a little bit because it still looks like it's kind of wet in some of the areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit this to the side and I'm going to cut out my leaves. All right, and then we're gonna take our apple builder punch and we're gonna punch out our stem. Just like that. All right, so now we're gonna sit those little pieces to the side and we are going to take a piece of pumpkin pie, which I forgot to mention earlier. And this piece measures 4 1/4 inches. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're going to create our ribbon, our border punch. All right, so now we are going to punch out our pumpkin. And to avoid this waste up here, you can use a 2-inch strip. And I'm not really worried about it. All right, so there we got that. And then for our vellum piece, we're going to punch out a 2 1/4 inch circle. Just like that. All right, so now that we have all of our components punched out, let's go ahead and assemble our card and place our linen thread on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna glue my piece of designer series paper onto my mossy metal corrugated piece. Oh, before I do that though, I just made a mistake. So I am going to put a little bit of glue here on the edge and then I'm going to stick my border piece onto the piece of cardstock. Just like that. There we go. Ah! You want to make sure you do this before you glue down your piece of designer series paper. There we go. And then we're going to glue this down. Like that. And if you have a little bit of it like overlapping, you can just take your paper snips and just snip it off. That's fine. Snip a little bit of that edge off. Just like that. All right, so we're gonna flip this little guy over. And then I'm gonna take my linen thread. And I'm about to do my cheater bow method, okay? So if you're not familiar with my cheater bow method, I'm about to show you. So I'm gonna take a piece of tape and I am going to place one end of my linen thread onto the back of this piece of cardstock. And then I'm gonna wrap this bad boy around twice. just like that. And I'm going to snip off the excess. And depending on how high or how low I want it, there we go. I like it like right there. Then I'm going to take another piece of tape. This is where I wish I had 3 hands. And I'm going to tape that other end down just like that. Okay. Just like that. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 pieces of linen thread, and they're going to measure about 10 inches each. And I'm going to create a double bow. So I'm just snipping these pieces apart, just like this. Boom. And there's this cute little double bow. Isn't it awesome? All right, and then we'll just snip off the excess when we're done with assembling our card. All right, so now let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment, Happy Halloween. Right here in that bottom corner, just like that. And then we're going to use our piece of vellum as a guide, and we're going to, these vines here, we're going to stamp those in the background. So we're going to stamp like one right here, and we're going to stamp like one right here, kind of like off to the side a little bit, like that. Okay, and that is all of our stamping that we're going to do. So now we are going to take our pumpkin face. We're going to take our Wink of Stella. We're going to embellish it, coloring it in with a little bit of that sparkle. This part is optional. Okay. And then we are going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and pop this little guy up onto our vellum circle. Like that. Then we're going to take a dot of glue, just a little dollop, and we're going to attach our pumpkin stem. Okay, and our leaf. Right here off to the side of his face. And we're going to tuck like the stem of the leaf right behind that, the stem of the pumpkin. As you can see there. There you go. All right, and then we're going to flip this little guy over, and we're going to apply 2 more dimensionals onto the back. So you can't see them. And then we're going to attach it to our card. Right about there. Beautiful. And then we're going to take a glue dot and attach our bow. Right off to the side of the pumpkin. We're going to trim off any excess that we have to make it look a little neater, just like that. There we go. And then we're going to attach this piece to our card base with some liquid glue. So we're going to fold it, burnish it down with our bone folder. Ooh, and I almost forgot my leaf. Can't forget the last little leaf on here. So we're gonna glue this bad boy up. Making sure that our card stays stuck. Just like that. And then we're going to take a dimensional and we're going to attach our last leaf onto our card base. Just like this. And this little guy is going to go down here. All right, and now it's time for us to embellish with our rhinestones. So what I did was I took a medium, a medium and 2 smalls, and I took my pumpkin pie Stampin' blend. This is a great way to get the color you want of your rhinestones. You can color them with your Stampin' blends, which is awesome. So I'm coloring them in pumpkin pie because I don't have pumpkin pie rhinestones. There we go. And it dries super fast. And then I'm gonna take my pick tool and I'm just gonna place them throughout my card base. Here. And there you go. Aren't they cute? So stinking adorable. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed creating with me today. You can find a list of all of the supplies that I used on today's project in the description box below with links that'll take you straight over to my online store. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love for you to pick me. I will be more than happy to be your demonstrator and to assist you with any of your Stampin' needs. Also, don't forget that if you are going to place an order less than $150 to use this code, okay? If your order is over $150, don't use the code because then you will qualify for Stampin' Rewards and I don't want you to miss out on that. I will also have linked in the description box my website blog post for this particular project where you find all of the measurements and some additional information on today's project. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to like and share this video with your family, friends, and your mama and them. And yeah, show me some love down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about these projects. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys for now. So see you next time. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.